It says we're live, and 3, 2. Hey guys, welcome to the Battlewatch. This is episode 11. We are going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. There's a lot of updates coming up and a lot of interesting facts that we have learned over the course of our time playing Overwatch so far. Now, as always, if any listeners or viewers have information they want to hear, let us know in the Facebook group or Twitter. The Facebook group is Find the Battlewatch, and we will approve you as soon as you sign in. It is a closed group, so feel free to just jump right in, and you should get approved instantaneously. I believe Mark or I are on our phones nonstop, so feel free. Speaking of Mark, it's time to introduce the Battlewatch commanders. I am Dragon, DR4G3N, and you can find me on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. Find me any social means necessary. And Mark, where can they find you?
They can find me on the Battlewatch on Facebook. Again, if you join the group, we will let you in. We enjoy more people, the merrier.
Yes.
And you can find me on Battle.net at the Freak #11944.
Nice. All right, so first question for the crew is a little interesting one. Is there a particular hero that you feel is overpowered at the moment? Mark, how about you?
There is, actually.
Okay.
And I would have to say Genji.
All right.
Or in particular, I would say Genji's ult.
Okay, so go into a little detail on that, even though we're going to be spoiling a little further on.
Yeah, we're kind of spoiling a little, but when he sets off his ultimate in the right hands, and by the right hands I mean somebody who is experienced in using Genji, his ultimate is just insanely deadly.
Yeah.
He's just flying around so fast, you can barely see where he's going, zipping back and forth, jumping, swinging, and he can take out an entire team in one ult, without issue. So, I find him very difficult to play against. He's a bit of a nuisance for me personally. I've heard other people around the forums and stuff saying that he needs to be nerfed. Whether or not he does or he doesn't, I don't know. I don't play him really enough. I'm kind of starting to try to get into him.
Okay.
But if you ask me right now, I would say Genji would be one that's way too powerful.
Okay. I might be jumping the bandwagon or just following what Blizzard wants to do anyway, but I think Zenyatta needs a nerf, and the only reason I'm saying that is because, like you were saying, Mark, how Genji in the right hands is devastating. Zenyatta in the right hands, the fact that he can throw his Discord orb immediately, no matter what, there's no more, since they sped it up to 120 meters per second, it immediately comes back to him, so there's no downtime, and he can immediately throw the Discord orb. I don't think the problem is the speed. I think the problem might be the damage, and that's what Blizzard thinks as well. But it's just one of those things, as soon as they buffed him, he was the go-to character once they found out how broken he was.
Right.
Speaking of that, moving on to the weekly update, first and foremost, and I think this is really cool of Blizzard to take on, they're doing an Overwatch World Cup. So a lot of people that follow Blizzard know what happens yearly. They do a BlizzCon, and I've personally never been to one. I would love to go to one. Maybe
I would too. That would be
maybe
sweet.
We should start a Battlewatch funding to go to the next year. If we can get something like that happening, that would be amazing. But I would love to go to BlizzCon. BlizzCon is for all the Blizzard games released now and being released later. I believe they invite other companies to come and display their games or different things. I believe they had Magic the Gathering one year, but I don't know how much that is now because they're using Hearthstone. But it just seems like a fun time. And what they're doing with Overwatch this year is anybody that was playing in the competitive scene, such as displaying very pro performance, playing in the pro games, or playing very well in the competitive online where you get into the top 500, or just streaming in general and doing very well, they got an invite to a World Cup. So what that, or they got a, what would you say, not an invite, but a chance, I guess,
Yeah,
to
it's an
get
opportunity to go.
Yeah. So what has happened is, if you log into your BattleNet and click on Overwatch, it'll display Overwatch World Cup. You click on that, and then it'll give you a list of about 30 to maybe even 40 people of that have done these things, and what 3 characters they play the most. And on this, you get to choose 4 of these 40 people. And I don't know if 40 is the exact number, but I know you get to choose 4 people. So one person that I chose was Lasses. He was a streamer that I followed in the old game. I played Smite, and he's playing this one. He's doing very well. He hit the top 500, and then he dropped out of it. I think he was one of the first people to get the golden guns, but he does amazing with Zarya, and it showed that Zarya was his main character, so I voted for him. I voted for a pro player called Tailspin that does really well, and 2 other people that I was just like, hey, their names sound cool, or these are the characters they play, and I play the same ones. The sad thing, nobody mained Reinhardt, and I was so upset. I was so upset about that. Like, I've got a ridiculous amount of hours on Reinhardt right now, and the fact that nobody else plays him the way I play him, it makes me sad. But so sign into Battle.net and make your vote count, because these are the people that are going to get a free ride, a free board, and play on the opening stage of BlizzCon at the Overwatch counter. And they're going to be playing for I don't know, it'll probably be a trophy, because that's usually how Blizzard runs. And I think that's just awesome. Like, they're going to give 6 people the opportunity to battle against everybody around the world.
Yeah.
And I mean,
very cool.
What better time than during the Olympics? Like, why not, right?
Yep.
So, finalists will be announced on August 28th. I'm really hoping the people I voted for get picked. But again, no Reinhardt players, so whatever.
Yeah.
What are your takes on the Overwatch World Cup?
I think it's pretty neat. I think it gives, a lot of these pro players the opportunity to go out there and have, like, Olympics, so to speak. Like you say, it's no better time.
Yeah.
Get the best of the best together and get them in a game. I know you can watch, like, esports online and stuff like that, but, I mean, this is, based on their ranking and how they rank people out, providing some of those people the opportunity to play together should make some awesome gaming. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if Blizzard has announced, or if they're even going to announce a prize pool for it, but I mean, the fact that you get a free fly, you get a free free flight, you get free initiation, what am I trying to say? You get free admission, thank you, to the BlizzCon, and you get free room and board. So that's just awesome. Again, I'm going to plug the Battlewatch. I feel like we should get something sooner or later. Yeah. But moving on, we were talking about Zenyatta. Zenyatta's 50 minutes of fame look to be short. Like I was saying earlier, Blizzard is looking to nerf Zenyatta, specifically his Discord Orb. And I think it's a good idea. As I was saying, his Discord Orb can travel as fast as you want to any character. And the big thing about it is it's basically Discord Orb on a character. If they are a support, if they are defensive, or if they are an attacker, they're basically dead. If they get hit with, let's say, a Fire Strike, a McCree's shot, because McCree's shot has just become devastating if it's a headshot. What else would you say? Soldier 76's rockets is devastating.
Absolutely. Yeah, it drops your defenses so much.
Yes.
That, if you get nailed with a Discord Orb, the only thing I recommend to you is run. Just get out of the fray.
Yeah, and again, that's a good point. Pay attention if it comes up on your screen. If you have a Zenyatta on your team, the Discord Orb is going to display as a purple text, whereas the Harmony Orb will display as a blue text. And if you notice that, like Mark said, get out of the way. You've got 3 seconds, and then it goes away. If he puts it on you again, he's just wasting time looking at you and not the other players. So, I mean, just keep doing it to keep him distracted.
Yeah, and conversely, if you're on the attacking team with that Zenyatta, you need to be mindful of who he's putting the orb on. That should be your focus.
That's a good point.
You're going to take that person out really quick.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was watching some of your Reaper plays the other day, and you were focusing on every single person that had the Discord orb, and you were melting them. So that's happening. Next is a talk so far, but Mercy is looking to get reworked. They were looking at how much she's getting played since the Zenyatta buff, and it seems to be diminishing. And I think the whole reason is you've got Lucio, which does full team heals. You've got the Zenyatta, which the speed of his Transcendence can keep an entire team alive for a lot longer. The same with Lucio's ult. And those two have been like the go-to, the Lucio-Zenyatta combination. That being said, Blizzard is looking to change her around. They don't know what they're doing at the moment, but there have been some talks about her getting a new ability, or could be a reworked ability, kind of how D.Va got her defense matrix completely reworked to be a timed thing, or not a timed thing, instead of like a charged item. And there hasn't been anything set in stone, but Mercy to me is, I think she's still viable, but in my opinion, and Mark, I don't know if you have the same opinion on this, I think she's viable, just not at the moment. If Zenyatta's Discord orb or his healing comes down, excuse me, if his Discord orb gets taken down, I think he's going to be picked less, which means that Mercy will be picked more. And the only reason I say this is because Mercy's still viable because she can res an entire team.
Yes.
Like, yes, Zenyatta can keep an entire team alive, which is good, and I think the big reason everybody's picking him is because they want the extra damage from the orb. But if he gets that taken away, or if he gets that dramatically reduced, then I believe Mercy will just like come back without a buff at all.
Yeah, I agree. It just depends really on how you look at it. I mean, the whole basis of the game is you want to capture points, push payloads, so you need people to be alive. Whether they're alive already and you can keep them alive, or they die and you can res them, to me is almost the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't mind Zenyatta's and I don't mind Lucio's, but I love when I've got a Mercy on the team, because I know if we're pushing the payload and it's the last second, or we're trying to capture a point and they come in and you get a Pharah that goes up and just screws everybody over and kills your entire team, and that Mercy can res most of you, sometimes that's a game changer. I mean, Zenyatta's great, but if a team takes out Zenyatta, you don't have anybody.
Still welcome back.
You're kind of out there, and let's admit, most Zenyatas aren't necessarily staying behind the lines like a Mercy typically does. Most of them are getting in close, throwing that Discord orb, and then trying to kill players themselves. So it really just depends on the person's playstyle and what you would prefer on your team.
Yeah, that makes sense. And on that subject, a lot of Zenyatas are the aggressive Zenyatas, and the fact that Mercy, it might be a playstyle for pro players that they don't want to play Mercy because of the fact that people have such accurate shots that Zenyatta might just be like the key component that they need. And if something happens to his damage, then I'm sure they'll easily change over to either Ana or Mercy. I could see support being one of those that are thrown around depending on the maps.
Yeah. How about giving Mercy a slightly better gun? That would be nice.
There you go.
Maybe a bit more rapid fire on her same gun. I don't know, just something a little different to make her... Mercy to me is a healer first and an attacker dead last. I've pulled out her gun many times and killed other players, but 9 times out of 10, I'm on her staff, either healing or buffing someone, because I don't find her weapon to be... I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's actually more powerful than you think it is if you've never used Mercy. But it's just not good enough to really make her a viable attacker. Understanding that she's support and she's there primarily to heal and or damage buff teammates. When it comes to any sort of personal defense for her, it's almost next to none.
Yeah.
So at least where you have Zenyatta, where he can get in there and he can actually attack, and so can Lucio. He can boop and or use his gun, which is a little bit better, if not, significantly better than Mercy's gun.
Mm-hmm.
So I think removing her ability to attack by keeping her gun the way it is just makes her a healer.
Okay.
So I mean, if that's what you're looking for, is just a healer, that's one thing. But most people want to play, they want to attack, so they pick the Zenyatas and the Lucios, and that sort of thing. So maybe an upgrade to her gun would be nice. I personally would love if they increased the radius of her ultimate. That would be nice.
So she'd be able to res more people.
Yeah, from further away. I notice a lot of times, teams, a lot of people like to split up and they get further away.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, significant increase, but a little bit further so that I can get maybe 3 or 4 more people, if they're spread out. They had her damage buff up to 50% at one point and then took it back. Maybe that's something to look at.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing out ideas here at this point to try to make her more viable.
No, that's a very good point.
And keep Zenyatta where he's at. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because you don't necessarily have to nerf Zenyatta if you make the other ones more viable. You know what I mean?
True.
So you can look at it from that perspective. And Mercy, let's face it, she's a great character, but she's not being used for a reason.
Yeah.
I believe that reason is because Zenyatta is kind of broke, but people like to attack in this game and people like to kill, and Mercy is she's just not that type of character.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Speaking of viability, Blizzard has been looking at the characters that have not seemed so viable in competitive and pro gaming, and Mei has been coming up on the chopping block a lot. So I don't know. Like, you've been playing a lot of competitive lately, Mark. As have I, and I don't think I've ever seen Mei picked.
No, I don't think so either. I see her a lot in quick play, but not in competitive.
Yeah, like casual all day. I'll play her all day because I like to either mess with people or I like to... It seems like that's exactly the type of character she is at the moment. She's a, hey, let's have fun, instead of a, hey, let's get a job done. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so Blizzard has seen this and they don't like it. So they're trying to see what they can do to make her more viable. Right. And unfortunately, and I don't know how much you feel about this, she is like a blatant counter to Genji. So I think she needs to be more viable because of the fact that Genji is so prevalent anymore.
Right.
So I digress. So they're looking at increasing the radius of her ultimate ability. And I don't know if you guys have played against this, but a Mei's ultimate is basically the size of a capture point, which is insane.
It's pretty big, yes.
That they want to increase the radius of it. I think the only reason they're looking at doing this is because, for one, it's easy to escape. Even though it's so large already, it's easy to escape because you have the characters, the Reapers that can Wraith form. You have the McCrees that can roll out of it if they're at the edge. You've got the Reinhardts that can charge out of it if they're close enough, and Genji can dash out of it. So there's a lot of characters that can just... I mean, if you think about it, and it affects the people in the air, but I believe Lucio can wall ride out of it if he speeds fast enough.
You might be able to.
But there's a lot of characters that can just escape, and that's not what they were intending for the ultimate. And Blizzard actually, or the Overwatch designers, compare her ult. They want it to be more of like a Reinhardt ult, where it's a solid, straight up crowd control.
Right.
Where Reinhardt just smashes the ground, and all the people in that cone radius are stunned for a good 3 to 4 seconds. Mm-hmm. Whereas Mei, if you get somebody, they are frozen and they can die, but there's a lot of ways that you can keep them alive. Ana now has a AoE heal that heals for 100, so they can keep her alive. Right. I don't know. There's been plenty of times I've seen it in casual play where Mei's ulted and I've just shot with Ana or healed with my staff with Mercy, and Mei's like concentrating on a Roadhog, and I'm like, you're never going to kill this person. Like, why are you trying? Right. But so they're looking at doing that. I don't
This
know.
is where the other night I mentioned to you, I said if they change May in any way, shape, or form, I think her ultimate, I think somebody had there was rumored I saw online that they were going to increase the radius of her ultimate, which would be absolutely insane. What I think they should do, if I was king for a day, is I would imagine her ultimate looking downwards. So you've got this circular radius, right? And then imagine it like a target. So in the center, you've got the bullseye, and you got another ring on the outside of that, and maybe then the outer ring. So you've got 3 areas within that circle. So if she throws her ultimate and you happen to be landing in that bullseye, you're an instant freeze. It's not a gradual. I mean, you instantly are going to freeze. If you're in the outside skirts a little bit, maybe you freeze a little bit more. And then on the very outer ring, you freeze a little bit slower. You know what I'm saying? So as you expand outward on her ultimate, you freeze a little bit slower. I guess, a little bit slower as the further out. The dead center, and that's where you have to throw it, you're insta-frozen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Something like that, maybe looking at something like that, or, when she throws her ultimate, it puts up a wall for, like, a half a second. So that anybody that tries to run is kind of stuck there, and it kind of contains them for, like, literally like half a second. Not keep it up till they're frozen, but half a second. So it gives it the opportunity to freeze them rather than them to be able to escape.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, good luck to the designers of what they do, because May right now is the laughing stock of casual at the moment. So, Mark, you know more about this than I do. You are definitely more tech savvy than I am. So, you want to announce this next one?
We're looking at the server tick rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the article. I'm going to refer to this article on Eurogamer.net. It was written by an individual named Robert Purchase. I'm going to read the article. It's very brief. Just to get the word out there. I still don't quite understand exactly what it means, but it's supposed to be a good thing. So let's check it out. So the article starts. It says one of the most requested alterations to Overwatch appears to have been slightly made. The game now has a server tick rate of 60. I have no idea what that means, but we'll continue onward. It says Blizzard hasn't announced or confirmed the alteration, and we will update if and when it does. But you can open a network graph during gameplay by pressing Ctrl-Shift and N and see the numbers for yourself. It says the lines you're looking for are PPS in, or pulse per second in, and PPS out. These are the game's tick rates or updates per second. PPS out is your client sending the server information, and PPS in is the reverse. So I'm assuming receiving packets from the server. Previously, PPS out was set to 60, but PPS in was limited to 20, which caused issues from time to time, as well as some tick rate concern among the Overwatch community. So it goes on to say that this effect the effect this change will have on your day-to-day Overwatch experience will vary. Broadly, it will make a more responsive experience. Although how much you notice that depends on the lag you play and probably how seriously you play.
Okay.
So, in discussing it with Steppy earlier, I guess what we're looking at are things like, Roadhog throws his hook at you as you're walking around a corner. And if you've ever noticed, sometimes it'll still grab you. And you're going, how did he grab me? And I think a lot of what that might be is this server tick rate. So what you're putting out to the server is that you've already turned the corner.
Yes.
Right? And it gets this information. Well, it's only sending you 20 tick back, right? So what's happening is there's a delay between what you're sending the server and the response that it's coming back. So the server accepts the fact that, or thinks that you haven't turned the corner yet, and you get hooked, even though you actually have, and then it pulls you back around the corner.
Gotcha.
So I believe, if I'm understanding this correctly, it's fixing that and making it basically 1-for-1, since they're both at 60, and situations like that shouldn't happen. I know not necessarily, Roadhog's hook, but there's been times where I've been running from a player and I've turned a corner when I know they couldn't shoot me anymore, and I've died. And I'm going, there's no way. I'm clear around this corner. For at least a half a second, they haven't been able to shoot me, but I've somehow died. And I think that has something to do with it. But apparently, it hasn't officially been announced, but it's been fixed. But if you pull up your information, as it says in there, I think it's Control-Shift-N, you can see that those server ticks are equal now, 60 and 60.
Okay. Very cool. I'm looking forward to not being hooked.
Around
basically.
The corner. Yeah.
Yes. At all.
I don't like to go hooking on the corner.
So, all right. So that is the weekly update. That is everything that we've heard. If you guys have heard anything, feel free to let us know at our Twitter or in the Battlewatch group, and we will add it either to next week, or we can do like a midweek episode to keep you guys updated, because we are trying to bring the most current information to you every week. So going into our main topic for this episode, Mark and I have been playing since release, and we have played the competitive scene, we have played the casual scene, we've played the brawl scene, we've enjoyed the Lucio Ball and all the other things. Because of that, we feel that we've played enough that we understand the mechanics a little more, the characters a little better, the counters and the combos that go with them. So starting this week, and we're starting from left to right with the characters that are released at the moment, we are going to be talking about each and every character each and every week. So this week we are going to be starting with Genji, and without further ado, Mark, do you want to start up your game as well? If you could.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'll like make a custom game. All right, so Genji is... So a little background on Genji. Genji is Hanzo's brother, and this is a little lore-based. If you guys want to follow this, there's plenty of different... I'm sure there's plenty of different podcasts that follow the lore, as well as plenty of different websites that you can check out. This is all from the top of my head from what I've read or the videos I've watched. Genji is Hanzo's brother. They had a feud. Hanzo ended up killing Genji with his ultimate, and Genji got repaired by Mercy. And what had happened was when Genji got... so Hanzo and Genji were in a clan called the Hamada clan, I believe, and it was like a Japanese gang, and they were a direct threat to Overwatch, kind of like Blackwatch is, and we can get into that when we go into Reaper. But they have, because of that, they argued a lot, and what had happened was Genji at some point was destroyed, or he didn't agree with his brother. They got into a fight, and Genji was destroyed. Mercy fixed him up, and they converted him with like half machine, half man. They turned him into an Overwatch patriot, basically. So his main goal in Overwatch was to go and take out the Hamada clan. So he was basically sent to kill his family. And that being said, he wiped them out, and I believe him and his brother finally had that final bout, which is the one that you see in the videos that have been going around YouTube. If I screwed any of this lore up, feel free to tell me, because I am not a lore follower. It's not really what I do. I play the game, I like the characters, and that's basically it. But for those listening, what we are looking at is Genji's suit, and he has a two blades. One blade is his melee weapon, one blade is his ultimate weapon, as well as he has shuriken infused inside of his body somehow, because from different pictures that I've seen or different renditions, his machine body is basically like his torso down. Like everything down. He's got nothing left except for his like his shoulders, his neck, his face, his brain. And Mercy fixed him all up into what he is now. He's making a custom game. Mark, you are the leader somehow. Oh, that's right. You invited me.
Let's make you the leader.
All right.
There we go.
So we will make a custom game, and we will go through each one of his. That's fine. We will go through each one of his many amazing traits and different talents. Silence. All right, so
Silence.
Genji is a character that you want to choose. It's basically, he's been a character that everybody's been choosing no matter what. If it's King of the Hill, if it's Capture Point, if it's Push the Payload, if it's Defense. I don't know about you. Have you seen him any other places or not picked on certain positions?
No. Somebody's always picking him at some point.
And I think it's the whole everybody likes to play the ninja factor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
that and his summer game suit is awesome.
Yeah. I'm jealous. So, as I press F1, Genji has 5 abilities, and one of these abilities is a passive. So his main attack is Shuriken, which is throw an accurate burst of projectiles, and on your alternate throw, you throw a fan of 3 projectiles in an arc. Now, with these accurate projectiles, as you're moving, they will move with you, as displayed, as well as if you throw all in one spot, like standing still, they will all go to one spot. And this is really good for doing certain things like Reinhardt shields at a distance, or if you see a Widowmaker that's sniping, if you get 3 headshots on her, I believe that's an insta-kill, as well as his alternate fire, which is his right-click. This fires 3 in a fan, as I mentioned earlier, and sorry, I don't really want to capture it. So this fires 3 in a fan, and it will this will do devastating damage if hit on very close up. So let's see if I can get close to Mark, close enough without him deflecting everything to do. Okay, so that was about a quarter of Mark's health, and Marco gets some health, and you can see that is more devastating than the direct fire shot. All right, so his second ability is Deflect, which is for computer users, is his E. This lasts for about 3 seconds, actually.
3 seconds, yeah.
3 seconds, and it deflects incoming projectiles towards the direction you are aiming. Yeah. Where are you at?
Right behind you.
Okay, ready. You hit deflect.
Wrong one.
6 seconds, hold on. So it has a 7-second cooldown, and it will deflect, as I said, all projectiles. So it deflected it back towards Mark, it didn't deflect it at Mark, and I've found this out today that if you are looking in a different direction, where if you don't have your crosshairs pointed towards him, it will shoot the deflection where your crosshairs are pointed. So you can kind of you can take a deflection from here and throw it over to a different direction. So that's very useful. There's a lot of projectiles that a lot of people didn't realize could be deflected at when the game was released, such as different ultimates. Hanzo's ultimate shoots a projectile arrow before he goes off, and you can deflect that back. You can deflect a Mei ultimate, which she throws a projectile out to summon her cloud of ice. You can I did this the other day against the enemy team. You can deflect the Graviton Surge by Zarya, which then converts it to your Graviton Surge, as well as McCree's High Noon, and you can instantly kill McCree with that. Genji, because of this ability, I believe a lot of players that are very good can abuse Genji very well.
Yes.
They time it so that they go in, deflect whatever the opponent is doing, go out until it comes back, and then go back in and deflect it back again. They're, like I said, Reinhardt's, I might not have mentioned this, but Reinhardt's Fire Strike can be deflected, which blows my mind, especially because I'm a Reinhardt player, because it goes through shields, but it doesn't go through a sword, apparently. So, yeah, Genji can be very devastating. So, moving on, his third ability is his left shift for us computer players, which is Swift Strike. This rapidly dash forward and inflict damage on enemies, and eliminating an enemy will reset the cooldown on this. So, Mark, I'm gonna do that. So I just killed Mark, and then I dashed right after that, and the cooldown was immediately reset. So because of the fact that I killed a player, it can be immediately reset. The reason this is so devastating is because his ultimate gives you the ability to dash and swing your blade at this, not at the same time, but almost instantaneously, and then you instantly get another dash back. This can be comboed with a lot of characters such as Zarya or Reinhardt, or anybody that basically clumps characters up, like May's ult. There's a lot going on, and as Mark's displaying right now, the Swift Slash can get you in and out of danger very easily, depending on what you want to do. Not to mention that it can go through multiple characters. Sorry. So, moving on, I'm going to mention his ultimate last, but he's got a passive ability that Mark has been displaying. He can climb up walls and double jump. This is insanely devastating, because I will demonstrate that I can double jump to get on high on this wall. After I touch the wall, I can jump again and get to... So basically, it's almost like a triple jump, but you can use this to get to places that are basically unreachable for other characters very easily. Not to mention the Swift Strike can also get you to places even further up. So you can use the Swift Strike and then also double jump. So there's a lot of combination you can do with this. It very much reminded me of Castlevania when I was playing the first time with him, because of the fact that you can do so much with him. But yeah, it's it's very very helpful, and this is another thing that pro players like to use against other players that aren't as good, because of the fact that if you jump around and shoot your shurikens, you can very much take advantage of the other player, because a lot of players don't like to track people with the triggers, and because of that, it is very easily to take them out, because you can double jump over top of them and turn, and double jump over top of them and turn again. Now, the reason Genji, as Mark was saying earlier in the cast, the reason Genji is so devastating is because of his ultimate. Now, I don't know how Mark and I are going to demonstrate this further than one player, other than us doing it at the same time against each other. So try and get the full health if you're not already there, Mark.
I'm there. Okay,
so I'm going to get full health. Just you start at that end, and we'll just straight up duel. So, activating his Dragon Blade, let me read it first, is unsheath a deadly melee weapon. So, on the back of his back is his katana, and his katana is what he unsheaths, as Mark is demonstrating with his emote. Are you ready?
When you are.
Alright, on 3, 2, 1. Alright, so he breaks out, and
Nice.
I'm at 30 health, so it's not like I wasn't almost dead. But you do devastating attacks with Genji, and it lasts for quite a while. I believe it is 9 slashes altogether. But as we demonstrated, you can use your Swift Slash in it. When you unsheath your Dragon Blade, you also get a reset of your Swift Strike, and it's just devastating. Like, the whole combination between him and Zarya, or him and Reinhardt, can completely and utterly team kill a team, so it can turn the tide of the game very easily. A lot of Genjis try and use the ult as fast as they can, because while you're using your ult, you're building it back up through the kills. So you can build your ultimate back up, especially if you get a team kill, basically to 50%, so you don't have much to do while they're running back, other than throwing your shuriken so they can build it back.
Jump on the point, or the game's going to end.
Oh. Sorry. So, Anything you want to add really quick about Genji, Mark?
Not really. I'd like to play him more.
Yeah.
My problem with him is I lose control of him when I use his ultimate. I mean,
well, that's good to explain. Like what do you mean?
What I mean is it's so quick. So when he pulls out his ultimate and his sword is going, everything just moves so quickly. The way he slashes, and you're holding shift, and you're jumping. It's just a lot going on. And a lot of these really good players, I guess they see things quicker, which in essence slows things down for them. But when I hit his ultimate off and there's like 5 players there, I'm just legitimately just left clicking and shifting as best I can, and he's just zipping around so fast that it's hard for me to control and keep up with Genji's speed. I haven't quite gotten there yet with using him. So definitely at first, if you're new to the game, or if you're new to Genji for that matter, he's great to use, very fun to play with, but his ultimate is very hard to land successful concurrent kills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But a lot of these good players will go in, and I mean, I've seen them take out an entire team.
Yeah. All right. So while we're on that, I believe a lot of the reason these pro players are doing so well is because they are using their DPI and their mouse sensitivity a lot smaller, and right. Because of that reason, as they're turning their mouse, like I can do a full 180 very simply by moving my mouse probably 3 to 4 inches at an angle, like on an arc.
Yeah.
And right now I have my DPI high and my sensitivity at 6, where I used to have my sensitivity at 20. So, like, what's your sensitivity right now?
In game?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Mine is horizontal 30, vertical 15.
No, that's controller on mouse.
What is that? Let me see. Options.
It should be under controls at the very top.
Under controls?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sensitivity's at 15.
15. Okay, so yes. 15. That's pretty low. But so what I've been doing is, as I've been playing, especially with Genji, or McCree, I've been slowly decreasing my settings, and because of that, I've found myself because of that, I found myself being a lot more accurate with different characters. And that being the case, maybe you will get better at Genji if you start decreasing your mouse sensitivity.
Yeah. So
that's just a suggestion. But and by all means, if anybody has more questions about that, feel free to ask us in the Battlewatch or on our Twitter, Facebook groups, or on our Twitter. Thank you for killing me. But moving on to Genji, as I said earlier in the podcast, one of his counters is Mei, and the reason for this, actually, I'll just go switch to his counters. The reason for this is she can completely stop him if he tries to jump around her. I mean, he can definitely do devastating things at a distance, but she can wall him out and basically keep him out of the game if he doesn't try and engage. Another counter is Winston. Winston is a very good counter to him because of the fact that as much as Genji runs away, Winston does his electrical shock follows. So the fact that you do a double jump doesn't really affect him. As well as Winston being able to actually chase a Genji down with his jump. So, you're gonna end it. So I can hold the point. Oh, you healed. Either way, who else? Who would you say another counter for Genji is? I'm dying.
You already said Mei, right?
Yeah, Mei. Winston. Excuse me. Hanzo is a good counter for Genji if you have the accuracy of the Shatter Strike.
Yeah, McCree wouldn't be too bad if you hit him with that stun.
Yeah.
To just stop him.
unfortunately, you have to time it very well with McCree because Genji has the ability to deflect your stun.
Right.
And this is my personal, another counter to Genji is Pharah because of the fact that her shots do explosive blast. And the reason that's so good is because Genji's always jumping around and you don't have to directly hit him to do damage. He takes a lot of damage very quickly, and for that reason, you need to be very finesseful when you play with him, and you need to know what you're doing. Excuse me. I apologize for all my outbursts tonight. Other than that, that's Genji in a nutshell. Is there anything you want to add, like best used if or anything like that?
No, not really. That pretty much hits it all.
Okay, as we said, we're going to go into more detail on each character as we get more information about them, and as the weeks go on in the podcast. The tip of the week for this week is there's still 3 more days to move up in the competitive bracket, or grab more competitive points if that's what you want to do. I personally want to get 5 more so that I can get my golden gun once the season ends. So go for that. We have a couple shout-outs that we like to do. Steppy, he's a great help to the show. Take it over.
You apparently got hit with Zenyatta's Discord orb. Yeah, Steppy, he is a pretty much full-time player with us. Great help on the show. He's very active on the Battlewatch. Steppy has his own channel on YouTube. Steppy is, I think, what he uses as his primary channel. I know he's opened a newer channel. I don't know the name of it.
Steppy presents is what
Steppy presents. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he does a lot of other games, not just Overwatch. And I know he breaks down a lot of his characters on Overwatch as well. So definitely check him out if you get the opportunity.
Yeah, also on Twitch, twitch.tv/Legend of Steve. He's trying to get into Overwatch. He's been in the process of moving from California over to the East Coast, and he is my cousin. So much love for the fam, and always shouting him out. If there's anybody is watching or listening wants to shout people out, feel free to let us know, and we will give you guys a shout out whenever we can. Hopefully everything's going well with the stream. I don't believe we've had any downtime or downgrades after the first time we tried restream, but thanks to everybody that is watching and listening. We're going to try and bring the current information each and every week as it's provided, and next week we'll be talking about
the next character in line, who should be McCree?
Correct. It is McCree. So next week we will be talking about McCree. McCree has gotten a lot better since his release, so there should be a lot to talk about. On that note, thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you later. Say goodbye.
See ya.